What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here. Brian may deliver you our Week 8 team builder here in the WCBL. We are here taking on Kahlua and the Utah State Umbreons in essentially a must-win situation. If we lose this week, our playoff hopes are essentially dashed entirely. Because of the little bit of hacks that kind of cost us the game last week, if we lose this week, we're pretty much out of playoff contention, which really sucks. And we pretty much have to win out to guarantee, 100% guarantee us the spot. If we don't win out, we have to make sure that if we lose, like, next week, potentially, like, if we win this week, if we lose next week, we have to make sure the loss is very small so we don't lose too much in the differential department. So it's going to be a stressful couple of weeks for this league, but I think we can pull it out. It's just going to be tough. But I have faith that we can pull this off. I think we have a good chance to make it still. It's just going to be... Sorry, I'm going. It's going to be tough, man. But Kahlua is the person that Chu actually switched his team with, the Vancouver Victinis. So Kahlua was the one who originally drafted the team with the Gothitelle on it. Chu originally drafted this monster's team, and it's terrifying because it has a mon that is not actually even in the game yet. Kahlua is rocking out with Zeraora, that really scary mon, and I'm actually going to pull up its base stats, so if you guys don't know what Zeraora is like, you're about to find out all about Zeraora. But he also has the Nidoqueen, the Alola Ninetales, the Chestnut, Sigilyph, Linoon, Mega Mawile, Suicune, Chandelure, Noivern, and Umbreon, with Zeraora and Noivern being his Z users. Now, couple things to note. Obviously, Mega Mawile, massive threat. Suicune, super bulky, going to be very annoying to deal with. Noivern's a solid wall breaker. And Umbreon's a fat wall that I don't want to deal with. Sigilyph could be annoying, potentially. Chestnut could always be annoying as well. I could see him bringing Chestnut just because of Zygarde. He has Nidoqueen, which is also a threat, and then Alola Ninetales, which is out of that Hail, which could be annoying. But let's get into the Zeraora. Now, Zeraora is the next event legendary that we're going to be getting for Ultra Sun and Moon. Because we've already gotten things like the Marshadow, we've gotten we got Marshadow, we got Magearna. Now it's time to get the Zeraora. Now Zeraora's base stats, it has a 600 base stat total. It sits with 88 HP, 112 into physical attack, 75 defense, 102 in special attack, 80 into defense, and 143 speed. So it's basically just a fast, hard-hitting mixed attacker with the potential to act, like, it's not even, I can't even call it a glass cannon, because with those defensive stats, like, it's not super duper frail. Like, it can actually still eat a hit if it has to, or if it can maybe set up in its defenses. It can eat a hit, potentially, very easily. So, Zeraora is a really threatening mon, and it has, like, some really ridiculous coverage opportunities as well. It has things like close combat. It has access to Hone Claws and Bulk Up for setup. It has its signature move, Plasma Fist, which is a physical, base 100 electric type move, and it basically puts out the Electrify ability, or the secondary effect of Electrify, where, like, a normal type move will turn into a electric type move if the Plasma Fist goes first. And he also just so happens to have Volt Absorb for an ability. So if you're going, you can't really justify going for a normal type move against Zeraora, because it can just go, it can outspeed you because it's ridiculously fast. Go for that Plasma Fists, and if you're not a ground type and immune to it, you are going to basically be giving him free HP back with the thanks to that Volt Absorb. So that's not fun. He also has Calm Mind as setup potential, Bulk Up. obviously T-Bolt and whatnot. He has access to acrobatics. He has access to Grass Knot, of course. But that's not even the craziest thing. We go to his tutoring moves. Bounce, Dual Chop, Drain Punch, Fire Punch, Iron Tail, Knockoff, Outrage. This thing has coverage out the ass. This thing is ridiculous. Dude, it's absolutely ridiculous coverage-wise. By the way, I do state in the battle, because the battle has already happened, but I'm recording the team builder after the fact. I'm just doing my best not to spoil. I do state in the actual video, though, that I had no clue that Zeraora got Outrage until, obviously, the battle happened. So, you know, obviously now that I'm looking through the information for y'all, it was kind of shocking to me when, you know, in the moment that it had Outrage. But now, looking back on it, like, obviously, I know it had Outrage. But still, it's insanity. So really, really hard to beat Mon. But I think we've built a team that can do at least the best possible, as the best possible way of beating it. It's going to be really difficult, for sure. But the first one we're going to be bringing, obviously, we're going to be bringing our Jolteon, Speed Boy, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, HP Ground, and Shadow Ball. Basically, to sum this up in the simplest way I can, we're bringing Assault Vest Jolteon because Assault Vest Jolteon does really well against this team. It swallows anything from Suicune and is able to beat it down very effectively. It can take a hit from Noivern very well and hurt it. It can take a hit from Nidoqueen and hurt it back pretty decently well. It can take hits from Nidoqueen or Ninetales and hit it back really well. A lot of his major threats are special, and this thing can wall those pretty effectively. Basically, this covers having him be a special Zeraora because we have Volt Absorb ourselves, so we can be able to switch into Zeraora a little bit better, but it also does have the potential to set up a bulk up or something and be a physical variant with the close combat, outrage, things like that. That can really, really hurt our Jolteon, so we're going to have to be very careful with that. Obviously careful with our moves as well. We have Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, HP Ground, and Shadow Ball. Volt Switch and Thunderbolt just for stab, just to hit his team as hard as we possibly can. He does have the immunity with the Nidoqueen as well as the Zeraora, but if we're that's why we have the HP Ground, which will hit both of those super effectively, which is really, really nice, as well as being super effective on the Mawile and the Chandelure. Speaking of super effective on the Chandelure, we also have the Shadow Ball, just because like I kind of just need an extra coverage move, and I couldn't think of anything else to run on it, so that I wanted to run on it because I already run a Hidden Power, so I just kind of went with Shadow Ball as my best possible option. So we do have enough speed to outspeed the Alola Ninetales, and then I threw everything else into our HP stats so that we can be as bulky as possible with this Assault Vest to really start living things and make sure that his team can't really do too much to us. Next up, we're bringing Finny Nut with the Choice Scarf. We are trying this Choice Scarf trick thing like we did in Week 6 of the PFL. We're trying it once again. Scald, Moonblast, Nature's Madness, and Trick. We're throwing a little bit into our special attack stat. We're running enough speed to outspeed max speed base 80s, which I believe that equates to the Chandelure, which is cool. We're going to the goal here is to try to trick this Scarf onto Suicune. That would be ideal. If that does not happen, that would suck. It would also be nice to choice the Chestnut, which would be really cool as well. Or even to choice the... No, not choice the Lanoon. That would be horrible. Let's not choice Lanoon. Lanoon's not coming in anyway, because we have Mega Aggron, so he's just not going to bring it. Because that'd be stupid. Why would he bring on that basically it's hard-walled by Mega Aggron? But no, we're going to try to trick the Scarf onto something like that. So basically cripple one of his walls with a Scarf, which would be really cool. Really, really nice for us to cripple those. If we... Also, the Umbreon will be nice to trick it onto as well, if he brings it. And then we also have the Nature's Madness, Moonblast, and Scald. Nature's Madness just to really break through his team best we can. If we can get one off against something, that'd be awesome. And then Scald and Moonblast just for the dual stabs to hit the majority of his team pretty hard and just kind of chip away at him throughout the game. So that'd be pretty cool. So that is our Tapu Fini set. Next up, we have hashtag Give 'em the D. We're actually running no item Mega Deoxys this week. And the reason we're running no item is because with all of our SPDF investment, yeah, we can swallow hits from a majority of things. Like having the max SPDF investment, this allows us to take on the Ninetales like it's nothing, Life Orb, Nidoqueen like it's nothing, Sigilyph, easy peasy like it's nothing, Chandelure like it's nothing, Noivern like it's nothing. And then I just kind of put that little tiny bit into FizzDef because it allows us to not be too KO'd by a couple different things, which is nice. We're running no item because by running no item, we pretty much make it so that Mega Mawile can't 2-hit KO us without an SD, or can't KO us without an SD, which is really nice. So we can actually, like, we 3-KO with Nightshade, and we pretty much pressure it really hard. Also, we can taunt a lot of the slower mons. Unless he's running speed investment on Suicune. We pretty much outspeed anything Suicune and under. So we can taunt those things and kind of whittle them down that way with the Nightshades. We can set up Spikes as well, which could be really, really cool to whittle down his team that way. Spikes would be really nice in the matchup if we can get them up. Recover, just keep ourselves healthy, and yeah, Nightshade for damage. So. And pressure just to whittle down his PP as well, which is always a fun thing to do to my opponents. I do love PP stalling with Deoxys, so that's cool. So that is our DOD. Next up, we are bringing Bruce Wayne, our Gliscor. Again, it's been a while since we brought Bruce Wayne, so I figured I'd bring him this week. Toxic Orb, Poison Heal, Gliscor, 248 HP, 124 in 2 defense, and 136 in speed with Jolly Nature. This is to make sure we outspeed a max speed Chandelure, I believe. Or is that max speed Suicune? Okay, so we don't outspeed Suicune, but we do outspeed max speed Chandelure. That is what we EV'd for. I apologize. I do believe I actually specify in the video that we did outspeed a max speed Suicune. That is a lie, but he would also not run max speed Suicune because it's not a meme week, and it just doesn't do anything against our team by doing that. Like, he gains nothing by running max speed Suicune, essentially, other than a potential speed tie with Tapu Fini. But, like, if I'm running speed investment, then that's just not worth it. So, I'm running enough speed to outspeed the max speed Shandy. Roost, Earthquake, Fling, and Acrobatics. So Roost is just for reliable recovery, along with our Toxic Orb with the Poison Heal, so that we can keep ourselves healthy throughout the majority of the match. Earthquake is our main form of offense because it is stab and it will hurt a majority of his team. He has only 1 immunity to Earthquake and 2 immunities to Earthquake, and that's fine. I'm not too worried about either of those in the broad scheme of things. Fling with the Toxic Orb could be really useful if I get the opportunity to use it. I can just fling off that Toxic Orb once I'm already poisoned, and we can get a poison off on somebody else as well. That would be really cool. I have never actually gotten a chance to do that before. And then we do have the Acrobatics, so like if I can get the Fling off, I can Acrobatics the Chestnut, and it will actually just OHKO, because then we'll have the base 110 power Acrobatics. And that plus Stab and everything else with Gliscor already being a really hard hitter, I think it'll be really, really effective for us in this match. So that is our Gliscor set. The next mon we're bringing this week is going to be Gajeel the Aggron. Mega Aggron, of course. We have to specify that he is Mega, because Because I think Kahlua challenged in custom game. No, he had to challenge in custom game because it was Zeraora. Yes, that was why. We do have the Mega Aggron here. Stealth Rock, Toxic, Earthquake, and Heavy Slam. We had to go fully Spit F, so we could actually take a hit from Nidoqueen if we had to. That's essentially the only reason we're fully Spit F. Even still, Sigilif, or majority of his team, just can't touch this thing, can't break through it. Mega Mawile struggles to do so, Chandelure struggles to do so. It's a hard mon to break through, and not many mons in this team can do it. Stealth Rock is nice against his team, just to kind of get that chip damage here and there. It never hurts to have chip damage of any kind against any team, so these rocks could be very, very crucial to the game. So here's hoping that works out in our favor. We have Toxic to just kind of whittle down a bunch of mons on his team, things like the Chestnut and stuff that might want to think that they can come in pretty safely against us. We can Toxic those and whittle them down. Earthquake can beat down things like the Nidoqueen, the Zeraora, the Mega Mawile, stuff like that pretty nicely, as well as we have the Heavy Slam, which will just do a massive amount of damage to pretty much anything else that doesn't resist it. Hard because this is a very heavy mon, and it will do massive damage, as well as being able to obviously just have this thing to Oko the Alolan Ninetales, which is always an annoying threat. The last mon I decided to bring was kind of a toss-up. I was really struggling between a bunch of different mons on my team, because really, realistically, this slot could have been anybody. But I decided to go with Shroomzy the Amoonguss. Black Sludge, Regenerator, Spore, Clear Smog, Giga Drain, and HP Flying. So we have the Spore because with that Spore, we can potentially put a bunch of mons to sleep, which is also really, really nice, which is always really, really nice. We have the Clear Smog because this is kind of like a way to 1v1 a potential Carmine Suicune. Like if it's Crocoon, you can just we can Clear Smog it and alternate Clear Smogs and Giga Drains and stuff like that, so that we can beat down the Coon as fast as possible, which is always a nice thing to do. If he doesn't run Ice Beam, we can pretty much 1v1 the Coon, which is also cool, which is really, really cool. So, very, very pleased with that. Then we have HP Flying, because if he does bring the Chestnut for that Zygarde, we can beat that thing down. That thing can easily come in on Shroomzy, especially if it thinks we're running Sludge Bomb, which would be blocked by Bulletproof. But we can just HP Flying it instead and beat it down that way, which is really, really fun to do. And I think we have a good chance of being able to do that. So with that, we are going to hop into the actual battle. It is time to take him on. So hope you guys enjoy. See you.
Alright guys, we are here for our week number 8 matchup here in the WCBL against Kahlua and his Utah State Umbreons. He decided to bring to this matchup Chandelure, the Alolan Ninetales, the Nidoqueen, the Zeraora, which is scary. I don't like Zeraora. He did bring the Suicune, and he brought the Mega Mawile. So let's click this play without that music, and let's switch sides, obviously. So he's going to lead with his Chandelure, I'm going to lead with my Jolteon. I'm going to go for the HP Ground turn 1, and my reason for this is because I wanted to potentially catch Zeraora if he wanted to try to switch in turn 1, try to catch me off guard, or maybe show that he has some kind of way of beating me with his Zeraora or whatever, or if he wanted to try to eat an electric move with the Nidoqueen as well. It covered pretty much any potential switch-in he could have gone for. And he goes for the Shadow Ball and does a massive amount of damage, revealing that he's a Life Orb. And he obviously, he sees now that I'm AV Jolteon, so I'm going to still be able to kill him off. And he goes out to the Zeraora, and I'm just going to be able to go out into my Shroomzy, and he goes for Devastating Drake. Now, right at the beginning of the matchup, he seemed a tad upset that I didn't have Zygarde, and now I see why, because he brought the Devastating Drake on Zeraora. I'm assuming that was off of Outrage, because Zeraora gets fucking Outrage. Why does Zeraora get Outrage? I don't know, but I'm gonna munch on my Black Sludge and get my HP back up. and go for a Spore as he brings in the Suicune. So he actually, smart play on his part, sap up that sleeve. So I'm going to go to the top of Phineas. He's going to double out into his Mawile. Now I'm going to double out into my Aggron as he's going to double back into his Suicune. So very nice switch there. He's going to go for the Sleep Talk. So revealing he brought Sleep Talk on his Suicune. I don't know if that means he has Rest or not yet. He might have just brought it as a way to be a switch into Amogus, but he goes for the Sleep Talk and gets the Roar as I switch in Feeny. Now, the reason I switched in Feeny was because I wanted to try to trick my Scarf onto the Suicune. That's why I keep trying to get Finny in against the Coon, because I think that could be a very interesting thing for me to do. So here I'm going to switch back out into Feeny as he's going to go out into his Ninetales. And I'm going to go out now into my Aggron, which walls Ninetales, as he goes into his Nidoqueen. So these switches are insane. I'm going to go straight for an Earthquake here, though. I know I can take one life... I can take one modest Life Orb. One modest Life Orb, Earth Power easily. Or, not easily, but like I can take it. So I go for the Earthquake. He does get up his Rocks here, which is kind of annoying, but I'm like not super duper upset about it. But that's fine. He's going to be able to get that off. I'm going to go for another Earthquake as he's going to bring in his Suicune and munch on them lefties. I'm going to go now out into my Tapu Fini as he's going to go for the Sleep Talk, and it's going to fail as he's going to wake up. So I go for the trick here as he's going to switch in his Nidoqueen. He gets the Scarf, which is super scary, but I get a Pasho Berry. So so very interesting that he would switch there. Maybe predicting me to go for a Moonblast or something. But I'm pretty sure I EV'd this Finny to outspeed it anyway. So like it would have been, well, obviously it would have been Scarf, but I think even Moonblast would have like 2-hit KO'd him from this range. I don't know the calcs exactly, but I think it might have, because Nidoqueen was pretty low at this point, plus the rocks and everything. So I don't know. But now this Nidoqueen is Choice Scarfed, and that is threatening to me. So, but I have a Pasho Berry, and that's useless. So I'm going to go out onto DOD here, as he's going to go for the Earth Power, and I'm going to swallow that, because Deoxys defense is a monstrous beast. I'm going to recover here, as he's obviously going to switch into his Mawile. Now, I'm going to go for the Nightshade here. In hindsight, I almost clicked Taunt on the first turn here to prevent this from happening. Unfortunately, I didn't do that. I did go straight for the Nightshade. I just kind of wanted to get this thing damaged as fast as possible. I taunt the second turn, though, and it turns out he was going for Sub. Now, granted, in hindsight, if I had just gone for the Nightshade, I actually would have been fine, because he would not have been able to... he would not have been able to sub again. He would not have been able to sub because he would have been down at this amount of HP anyway. But taunting there prevented him from setting up another SD and then being able to like Sucker Punch Sweep my team or some shit like that. So I do just go for the... He does go for the Play Rough. It's actually going to be able to knock me out. It's a +2 Mawile. I was more Spadef, so that's fine. I go out to Finny here, and I'm going to go for the Skull just straight up and take out this Mawile, which is fine. He's going to go now out into his Zeraora and go for a Bulk Up. So I'm just going to go for the Nature's Madness. I want to chip this thing down as much as I can, and now I'm going to go out into my Amoonguss. He's going to go for that Plasma Fist move he has, and that's going to chip my Amoonguss down decently, but he's going to reveal the Fire Punch here. So he didn't reveal it earlier because he wasn't at +1, so he couldn't kill me, but that was really cool on his part. He goes for the Outrage against my Gliscor, which chews it, and I'm able to knock it out, even at +1 with my Earthquake. So there goes Bruce Wayne killing it once again. He's going to bring his Ninetales in here and then double back out to his Suicune, predicting me to switch, which is a smart play because obviously I'm going to switch in this situation. Now, this play, I do go for the trick because I want to get rid of this Pasho Berry, and I'm actually going to get an Akka Berry off of this incoming Ninetales. Mind you, we do realize earlier that this is not Snow Warning. I do believe that was a mistake on his part. If it was Snow Warning, that kind of would have been more of a pain in the ass just because of the constant damage. But still, it was pretty cool, I think, that it wasn't. It was pretty interesting for the match, but we're just trading berries all this matchup. This is pretty cool. But I had an Occa Berry. He's just going to be able to knock me out with a Moonblast in the following turn, which is totally fine. I'm not opposed to this. I'm just going to go for the T-Bolt here, though, on the Ninetales and knock it out. Now, he goes for the Ice Beam here, and that was... He predicted me to switch out to Gliscor to potentially try to protect Differential, because of the fact that, like, if he went for an Earth Power and, like, killed Jolteon, then I would have... Well, if he went Earth Power and killed Jolteon, then whatchamacallit? Then I would have had to go into my Gliscor and take him out that way, because I would have been immune, and it would have been like a very different, weird endgame kind of situation that would have been going down. But regardless, I'm going to chew that Ice Beam because I am Assault Vest. I'm going to go for my HP Ground and knock out the Nidoqueen. Lastly, he's going to go into his Suicune here. Go straight for the Thunderbolt. He's very Spadef invested, so he's not going to be able to pick up the kill, and Scald is going to be able to not knock out my Jolteon, but he gets the burn. I almost won this match 3-0. I almost won it 3-0. Almost. I was so upset. So upset. I really wanted to win this 3-0. That would have been really good for my playoff hopes. But I'm going to die to this burn here, unfortunately. But at this point, it doesn't matter. I do pick up the W because I'm going to be able to go into Bruce Wayne. I'm EV'd, outspeed even a max speed Suicune. And I'm going to pick up the 2-0W over Kahlua and the Utah State Umbreons. A matchup that I really was scared of, and I was really not sure I was going to be able to pick up the W for. But thankfully, we were able to pull this out. I'm really, really happy with how we played this game. I think this game worked really, really well. I wouldn't say a lot of my prep worked great, but like the AV Jolteon definitely did a lot of work for me in this game, shutting down that Chandelure like turn 1 immediately, which is really, really awesome, and then having the ability to just pressure a majority of his team. Like, I was faster than the majority of things outside of that Zeraora, so that's always helpful, and just being able to do as much damage as I did, it's just really, really nice throughout the game. Giving that Scarf to Nidoqueen was very, very detrimental because it made that thing much more of a threat, especially in the late game here, but it didn't end up hurting me too terribly, and it did reveal to me that he wasn't as offensive as I had feared, so that made me feel a little bit more confident. But GG again to Kahlua, a fantastic game. Next week, we take on A-Guy and the Dallas Starmies, and if we pick up the W there, we're guaranteed playoffs. If we lose, it really just comes down to how everyone else plays. It really just comes down to how every other match goes, and that is terrifying. We are hoping for so many things to happen next week, but regardless, if we win against, if we beat A-Guy next week, we pretty much lock ourselves in 100% for playoffs. We lock ourselves in for playoffs, and that's great. We are basically there. It's just one more W, and we are in. So we are going hard as hell on our prep for A-Guy. A-Guy, we are coming for you, dude. It's time. You about to catch this work. It is over. It is over. We are coming for our W. We are going to playoffs. I'm taking DOD to the top, boys. It is time to fuck shit up. But till then, though, thank you all for watching. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, I'm PokePrimer, signing off. Peace.